And we're back. Welcome back to the Shankly Sessions, the weekly podcast we bring you about all things Liverpool FC on the Dynamo Podcast Network on YouTube. Head over there, absolutely smash that like, bell, and notification button. As always, support all the videos that we put up there where we bring you all the latest news, player watch, transfer news, anything going on with Liverpool FC. We bring you here on a weekly basis. As you can see this week, I'm flying solo. Dean is away. He's on holidays in Kusadasi, living it up, having a great time after a stressful few months with baby Lewis arriving. So I hope he's over there with Mandy enjoying himself. He will be back next week for that huge Chelsea game without a shadow of a doubt. We will be dropping a load of content all through this week in the build up to that big game, potentially a title rivalry. Um, 6 pointer, at this early stage in the season. But let's get into the show anyway. Obviously, the two beautiful men standing behind me, as always, Big Virgin Mo, the Egyptian King. Let's get into this. Great start last week to the season. Norwich 3-0 win. Could have been a hell of a lot more, except we weren't as clinical as we normally are. But that's okay. It's early doors in the season. 3-0 win, clean sheet. Absolutely brilliant. In news about the club, Liverpool have welcomed Think Markets as their global trading partner now. Outstanding job they're doing at the moment on the business side of the club. Every single week now, we're reporting news of new partnerships, new global enterprises coming on board who see the Liverpool brand as a big thing going into the future. And this bodes well for the club in terms of business, in terms of money coming into the club, and in terms of potential investment, potentially within the stadium and also in terms of player investment. So, absolutely brilliant news there. Of course, I want to start with two things. One, Fabinho. Very sad to hear the passing of his father. Our thoughts, prayers, and condolences go out to his family. As always, the Liverpool family, as we always do, rallies around these things as always to show as much support as we can. No doubt Fabinho will be back real soon, stronger, better, hungrier, ready to go. Of course, trying to honour the memory of his dad this season. Absolutely outstanding player. Very sad news. Also, we're saddened by director Terry Smith, who passed away aged 87 this week, a lifelong supporter of Liverpool, but also succeeded Bob Paisley as director at Anfield. He served the club's board for 15 years. Very sad to hear of the passing of Terry Smith, who had a huge influence on the club down through the years. Also, want to talk about yesterday's game, Burnley. But before we get into the game, I think it was a very emotional day for everyone on a number of levels. The fact that fans were back in there, Diogo Jota, Thiago, all these newish players, if you like, got to feel the real Anfield roar that was in there yesterday. The crowd singing their names, all that kind of thing. They really feel how that stadium feels on a big match day. And no doubt they'll feel it under the lights during the Champions League, during those midweek games where it's lit up in the darkness and the crowd are unbelievable. But yesterday, Liverpool had brought in volunteers during the week to help assemble a mosaic representing the change from 96 to 97. And boy, oh boy, did the cop do their part. That mosaic was absolutely beautiful in memory of Andrew Devine, who passed away and became the 97th victim of the Hillsborough disaster. So his memory is enshrined in the club's fabric going forward. He will never be forgotten. And every person who buys a jersey will wear Andrew and the other 96 on their back going forward as the new 97 symbol comes out representing the victims of the Hillsborough disaster, which gives a little bit of solace, I hope, to Andrew's family that they know that he will be remembered forever in terms of the club and the sacrifice that he made on that day, along with everyone else. Absolutely brilliant, you know what I mean? Also, Liverpool unveiled the new look match day program. I have to say, looks really, really slick. A nice little thing, a nice little program that you could collect and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Not too bad at all. Looks really slight. It looks really different, but looks like a real nice glossy program that you'd want to collect. You know, so yeah, that's cool. Um, let's get into some player watch. Um, James Milner said his reaction was incredible. The return of the fans at the Norwich game and stuff like that. He could really feel it on the pitch and stuff like that. You know, Van Dijk also came out and he says it's an exciting time. Let's just go for it. Van Dijk, of course, very excited when the fans are back. Absolute exceptional footballer, the best in the business at the back in the world at the moment, without a shadow of a doubt. Great to see him back. So good on the ball, so calm, such a calming influence at the back there for Liverpool, but always about the business. Let's just go for it. You know what I mean? There's no messing around with Van Dijk. He has single-mindedly, he just puts his target out there, and that's what he goes for. There's no messing about with him at all. Um, Onto the Burnley game yesterday, I think was an outstanding game. I know it's against lesser opposition, but these are the kind of teams in the past. I mean, we know what happened last season, but we can wash that away because of the circumstances that season. But yesterday they went out. Um, I was surprised because I expected Burnley, I mentioned on the preview, I expected Burnley to play that kind of low block, two banks of four, just sit in there and hold, and not just kind of go for it. But it was kind of weird because they came out and they came out to play. They played a 4-4-2. They pushed up the field. And I remember in the early stages of the match yesterday, they were pushing forward with 4 or 5 players. And I was going, this is very un-Burnley, like, you know what I mean? But we did do the business. We went out there. Simicus, what can we say about him? Absolutely unbelievable. In filling that role for Robbo, who was out injured. Robbo back on the bench yesterday, actually, which was fantastic to hear. But filling that role brilliantly. And it's absolutely fantastic to know now that we actually have a backup. Sorry about that. That we actually have a backup for Robbo now, which is absolutely fantastic. Because these are the areas that we've always been worried about, you know, in terms of what they bring to the team, in terms of their attacking style and their assists that they add to the team. If we didn't have a backup for those guys and they got injured, it kind of, you know, it changes our kind of way of playing. So yeah, it's great to have Simicus in there. He stepped up to the plate. He had a brilliant preseason, and he's brought it now into the league. So fantastic. Yesterday, Matip. What can I say about Joel Matip? Absolutely outstanding yesterday. Very like Virgil again. Very relaxed on the ball. No problem taking on a striker and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Just so cool. I seen him turn one of the strikers yesterday where he just took the ball down, went around him. Not a problem at all. Very like what Kanate was doing in pre-season as well. But it's amazing how we've gone from having literally no central defenders to now having an abundance of them. Probably Klopp has a selection process now in terms of like the six there probably available now at this stage. So absolutely brilliant cover there. Virgil yesterday, what can we say about Virgil? Absolutely calming influence. Just brings a level of play back to the side that's unbelievable. You know what I mean? If you think about the goals yesterday, and we will get into talking about the goals, that ball that he played, that cross ball field that he normally plays out there, and sometimes he plays it to Mo a lot, but he played it out to Harvey Elliott yesterday. We're going to get on to Harvey Elliott. Absolutely brilliant ball, straight from the back, crossfield ball. Harvey Elliott takes it down on the chest, one touch, puts the ball into a non-running Trent Alexander-Arnold, who plays a sublime flick around the defender. Mane running onto the ball in motion. Absolutely brilliant finish on the half volley, it looked like. Just an unbelievable goal from back to front. And, you know, if that was Barcelona or Messi or Neymar or something like that, it will be all over the internet today. Harvey Elliott yesterday was absolutely outstanding. Didn't look out of place. Brilliant in the Premier League. Looked like he'd been playing there for years. He's only a kid. Had a brilliant season last year on loan with Blackburn, of course, which created a little bit of needle, of course, with Burnley, as no doubt. But they did target him in the first half. In the first 15, 20 minutes, a couple of strong tackles went in on him. But the young lad just gets up off the ground, brushed it off, laughing. You know what I mean? It was absolutely outstanding. But the way he took that ball down on the chest, one touch into Trent, round the corner, Mane, boom, 2-0. Outstanding goal. Just goes to show when we're on our game, there's no one as good as us in terms of back to front, in terms of those killer passes and those killer goals. Incredible. So hats off to Harvey Elliott and all the boys in terms of that goal. Jordan Henderson. Let's talk about Jordan Henderson. He was absolutely sublime yesterday. The way he moved looks really, really fit, looks really, really up for the season. But his movement yesterday and being in the right position, and again, this calming influence of no panic. A ball came to him on our 18-yard line yesterday, and instead of like hoofing it and booting it away, just took the ball down and just passed it off into another player, stuff like that. So there's calmness at the moment throughout this team. As we said in the preview for the season, we're going to go about our business this year. We will be up there in terms of a title race. but we will go under the radar. We will let the Man Cities and the Chelseas and the Uniteds of this world take the shining light in terms of the transfers and in terms of what they've done. And we will just go under the radar and just slide in there, which is absolutely fabulous. But Jordan yesterday, some of his movement, that one where he picked up the ball in midfield and he just foot switched it and went around the player, like, was just sublime, unbelievable. So what a season we're going to have with Jordan Henderson. He just makes such a difference when he's in the team. And the fact that he slotted into that Fabinho role as well, like, he's such a versatile player and absolutely brilliant. Let's touch on the front three, or we might talk the front four. The hunger in those three guys at the moment to get on the score sheet is absolutely incredible. Quite frankly, I'm looking at that 2-0 Burnley scoreline, and that 2-0 could have been 5 or 6. Mane with a number of really good chances. Virgil with a couple of good chances, but Mane, I mean, that one where he tried to flick it in, that back flick near the near post and stuff like that was absolutely, it shows the confidence of the man. I just wish one or two of them had come off, but absolutely brilliant start from Liverpool this season. 5 goals, none conceded, 6 points on the board, top of the league at the moment. I don't think as fans we could ask for any more. Let's move into transfers. Let's talk about transfers. And of course, it's not only transfers, but it's actually renewals of contracts as well, which has played a big part in this transfer window for us. And again, as Dean has said many times, of course, we'd love new players to be coming in and stuff like that. But it's really, really important that we tie down these players and the spine of the team. And it's an exceptional time for us to do it. In terms of luck, we are very lucky in terms of the timing of these contracts coming up for renewal. Because as we know, Barcelona are in serious trouble. PSG are kind of loaded to the gazelle, so they don't really need anyone brought in. Real Madrid are having financial trouble. Inter Milan are having financial trouble. Juve are trying to get back up on the top spot. So it's a great time for us to renew these contracts because we don't have these bigger clubs coming in sniffing around our players the way they normally would, you know. So I would hope this week, I hope Jordan is going to sign to his new contract and get that out of the way. I want the captain focused on the club, on the pitch. I don't want him focused on the stuff off the pitch. So it'd be great if that's got done. Apparently, there is a 3-year contract there on the table offered to him with a potential 1-year extension. I think he'll sign up. I don't think there's any better place for Jordan Henderson. And we don't want to lose our captain. He's such an influence, such a great human being. Him and James Milner are absolutely pivotal in the way Liverpool do stuff going forward. So it'd be great to have him tied down. Obviously, Jurgen touched on Mo Salah's contract there the other day. That talks are ongoing, but there's nothing to report, but there's nothing to panic about either. This is the norm. I would love Mo's contract to be tied down as well. Club just pony up and pay him what they need to pay him. We know what his worth is to the club. He's invaluable to the club in terms of his goals, in terms of his play. Again, in terms of what he brings, he's always happy, he's always smiling, you know, he's a great influence to be around there. And of course, when you're bringing in guys like Harvey Elliott and stuff like that, you need a Mo Salah around those guys. It makes such a huge difference. So the ideal week for me coming up this week, going into a huge Chelsea game next weekend, would be that Jordan and Mo re-sign their contracts, and then we absolutely go into that weekend, absolutely burst the backside off Chelsea in terms of that game and stay top of the league going into the international break. That for me is the perfect start for Liverpool in terms of this season. Obviously, we mentioned in the transfer show as well, we've been linked to Ismail Sarr again, looking at about 40 million. I just don't think this deal is going to happen. I think we're constantly linked with this guy. I'm not sure if it's coming from the club. I'd say it's more coming from the agent in terms of propping him up in terms of props. You want your player, if you're an agent, to be linked with Liverpool Football Club, because straight away it justifies your value. But I don't see this being a player that we're going to bring in. We've been linked with him now for, I think, at least 3 or 4 windows at this stage, and we haven't pushed the button on him. So the chances of us wanting Ismail Sarr in is fairly slim at this stage. If Pep and Klopp and Mike Edwards were looking at this player and they're realistic about it, I think we would have had him by now. Ben Davis goes out on loan, joins Sheffield United. I think that's the right move for the lad. I think he needs to go out there. I think he needs to get football time. I think he's way down the pecking order in terms of our defenders at the moment. And we don't want to see these guys languishing around all year, playing potentially in the 23s or the reserves or whatever it is. You know what I mean? We want these guys out getting game time. We can see the influence last year with Harvey going out on loan to Blackburn and the difference it's made to lads. You know what I mean? Resilient, strong, you know, confident, all those kind of things. This is what we want from players when they go out on loan, when they come back. So I think it's a real good move for the lad, and we wish him well at Sheffield United this season. Leighton Clarkson as well has also gone out and joined Blackburn on loan. Now, if Harvey Elliott's loan move to Blackburn is anything to judge it by, Leighton should do great there as well, and we would hope that he would return from that loan a much better player. Just a few notes from you at the end of the show here, just to let you know, as always, it is the Dynamo Podcast Network on YouTube. So head over there and smash that subscribe and bell notification button. We will be dropping a lot of content this week in terms of the Shankly sessions. We will be doing a big Chelsea preview with Ian from the Chelsea Roar on the network. That's going to create some interesting debate. Of course, Chelsea are away at Arsenal today. The debut, I would imagine, of big Romelu Lukaku. Let's see how he gets on. Can Timo Werner put a goal or two away? Let's see how they get on today. Nothing to worry about at all in terms of Liverpool. I think we're strong enough to beat them next week at Anfield. But that remains to be seen. Also, this Thursday for Liverpool, always exciting, the Champions League draw. We will be covering that live on YouTube. We will be going live on Thursday, probably around 11 o'clock, whenever the draw happens. And we will bring you all the coverage of the Champions League draw as Liverpool finds out their travel requirements for the Champions League group stages happening on Thursday. So that will be brilliant. Also, next Tuesday week will be deadline day, of course. So for the last 2 hours of that day, 9 till 11, I think it is. Myself and Dean will be covering that live on YouTube. We'll be bringing you a live show. We will be going back through all the main transfer news for the whole window, recapping everything with all you guys. So we look forward to having you there, our viewers. We'll be able to do interactive chatting and all that kind of stuff because we will be live on YouTube. Really looking forward to that. So if you have the time, you're following. If you're a football fan, where else are you going to be next Tuesday week in the evening time, except following all the transfers? Will some of the teams do last minute business? Is there business done? Let's see what happens. So that's another date there in your calendar for us. As always, next week, Monday, we will be bringing you the Monday mashup. Tomorrow morning, we will be dropping the new show, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, where I'll go back over the whole weekend's action in the Premier League, and I will review all the matches and let you know what I thought was good, what I thought was bad, who was absolutely flying, who was in trouble, all that kind of stuff, good stuff in our new show, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. As always, check out on Friday. We're going to bring you Beat the Bookie again, where we have a look at the tips for next weekend. The Liverpool-Chelsea game, of course, is sure to feature in that big goal scorer. Can Mo outscore Romelu Lukaku? I think so. He is the Egyptian king. But until next time, if you want to contact the show, drop your comments in the video down below, or you can contact us on Twitter at Sessions Shankly, or if you want to hit us up on Facebook or Instagram, you'll get us there on the upper tier. And if you'd like to come on the show, hit us up, anything you'd like to discuss. We will talk to you again real soon. Come on, you red men.